For profile 1, we rotate with mouse, move forward with W, backward with S, left with A, and right with D.
So now we've switched to profile 2. If we try to use WSAD, it does not work. But if we try to use I, we'll move forward, K moves backwards, J moves left, L moves right. And now rotation does not work with the mouse, but it does work with the arrow keys. So we are going to be using a PlayStation 4 controller. Gonna hook it up through a USB connection. So we're on profile 1 and we can see this does nothing. But switch to the PS4 controller and we can see up here Sony Interactive Entertainment wireless controller is connected. You press PS4 controller and now you look around the left thumbstick. The right thumbstick does not work, just the left thumbstick. And WSAD does not work. IJKL don't work. But these buttons here, the horizontal and vertical axis, does work. So we are going to examine the Healthbar script. By default, it is set to 100. We can see that in the top right corner, top left corner right here. So keyboard 1 starts on the keyboard controller. Keyboard 2 then switches to the left-handed control. Then PS4 controller switches to the PS4 control. So first we're going to reconfigure keyboard 1. We're going to change the rotation style to arrow instead of mouse. So mouse does not work anymore. This now rotates with arrows. So W, S, A, and D still walk. So we're going to switch those to something like Q, W, E, and R. And save those changes. So now if you hit Q, it goes forward, W goes back, E goes to the right, R goes to the left. We can also reconfigure the shoot button, which we'll demonstrate when we get to that part of the project, and also a command that closes and opens the GUI. So you click escape, the GUI disappears, you click escape again, it comes back. But if we change it to something like G for GUI and click save, then clicking escape no longer works, but clicking G does. And then if you click reset, it restores the default values in rotation mode. For keyboard 2, you switch to keyboard 2, it does the same thing. If you switch to mouse, it's on mouse rotation now. You switch this to W, Q, E, R, click save, and now you walk forward with Q, backward with W, right with E, left with R. You switch the escape to H, something like that. Now when you click H, the menu disappears. Reset it, and now it resets to arrow mode for rotation. Now for a PlayStation 4 controller, we can switch. Right now we're using the left thumbstick to rotate, but we can switch now to the right thumbstick. So now left thumbstick doesn't work, but right thumbstick does. Now the GUI button is the start button. So you press it, the GUI disappears, but you can change it. Do something like the X button, save. So you press the X button, now the GUI disappears. We're going to switch now to PS4 controls because that is what I prefer, with right thumbstick for rotations. As you can see in the top right corner, my health is 100 out of 100. This box is for debugging purposes, and the enemy health is 100 out of 100. So if we approach the cube, we lost 5 of our health. And now part of the next requirement, part 8, if your health is less than 100, it will regenerate by 2 if you have not been hit by the cube for more than 10 seconds. So this health regeneration timer is counting down to when your health will regenerate. And if you're not hit by the cube after 10 seconds, it will regenerate by 2 until it reaches the maximum. First, we'll examine the code with the 2 different spheres. That is under Projectiles. We have 2 sphere objects, one big and one small, which have been written here. They're public. So the prefabs are then loaded into the projectile using a random number generator. One of the 2 spheres will be instantiated and launched and destroyed after 5 seconds or until contacting the enemy cube. Alright, so for profile 1, the button to shoot the cube is a right click, which on Mac is a double click on the trackpad. we can see the cube's health is now 60 because we've been hit by the big projectile twice. But now we got hit by the small projectile, so it decreased by 10, so now we're at 50. 40. Now before we kill the cube, we're going to switch the other profile to see how it shoots. So this is also by default right click to shoot. And for PlayStation 4 controller, the default is the right trigger to shoot. Okay. Now we are going to kill the cube. And since the health has reached 0, it has been destroyed. Projectiles are destroyed after 5 seconds of not reaching anything. And it's been destroyed because it didn't contact anything. Now we are going to demonstrate that you can customize the shooting buttons. So currently for profile 1, we're going to switch to arrow mode so the mouse isn't interfering with the direction of the shot. If you double click it, it shoots, but you can reconfigure it so that any button can shoot. We're going to say the space bar and save it. So now if you double click, it's not going to shoot. If you hit the space bar, it does shoot. The same works for profile 2. We're going to switch it to 6. So you press 6 and that shoots now. Now for PlayStation 4 controller, I'm gonna have to look up here. Currently shooting is the right trigger, but we are going to change shoot with the X button and save. So now hitting with the trigger does not work, but hitting with the X button does. And we're going to reset that. So now trigger works and mouse click works. And finally, we are going to show off the 3-dimensional GUI that is attached to the cube. So if you walk away from the cube, the GUI with its health is always facing you. And then if you kill it, as we demonstrated earlier, there is a cooldown period for the projectiles, so you can only shoot them once every 2 seconds, so you can't destroy the cube too quickly. It disappears. And that is it.